Marathon After Midnight is the movie that was shot locally that I was a part of. I acted in it. Otherwise, I can't claim too much, but certainly offered my opinion when asked, and maybe sometimes when not. But it was fun to make, and it is available now on Amazon Prime. I watched this cut of it. I thought I would talk about the movie a little bit, or, do a review, essentially. So this is basically a Marathon After Midnight review, but caveat from someone who was involved in it, acted in it. That being said, I've seen multiple cuts of this movie. The one on Amazon Prime that I watched last night was a little different than the other two I've seen. It was sort of an amalgamation of the other two, but shorter than the longest one. This version has all the best bits in it without losing it too much. There was a lot cut, but it needed to be like a 90-minute movie for the pacing to be okay. Yeah. I think. And so I think this is the best version of the movie so far, and it's probably the final version for now, I'm guessing. But it is very much a super low budget, locally made, independent, like guerrilla. Yeah. I mean, and it's shot on equipment from, 20 years ago or something, right? Digital equipment. So it looks like that. But as a consequence, new stuff doesn't really look like this anymore. And, I think, maybe people wouldn't necessarily want this look. But I think it's fun, and it was not up to me, and I probably wouldn't have chosen to do it this way, but it's somehow, it does work. It does fit. And I've come around on that. Like, I think I've had snobby moments in my movie appreciation career. It's not really a career, but I've had some snobbier moments. And something like this would be completely unacceptable. And sometimes I definitely cringe a little bit, especially during stuff I'm in, because I did my best, but I'm never really had tried to act before, and we were very much going by the seat of our pants. So it's interesting now, having seen the movie, maybe I would have chosen to try to do some of this stuff a little differently. The way it is it's a perfect representation of what we did, and I feel pretty good about how it ended up. And I actually, after, in the beginning, I always struggle a little bit, but then the movie wins me over. There's enough humor. There's enough, especially in some scenes I'm not in, like, I'm able to really get into some of that in terms of how funny it is. Because it's a horror comedy, but it's primarily a comedy with horror elements, or, horror settings, horror costumes, but in not in a modern way, at all in a modern way, unless we're moving past now. Yeah, unless this were to somehow change everything, which it's not going to do. Like, that's not what this movie is, I don't think. But it would be cool if there was, I have seen some of the vloggers, for like theme park vloggers, like bust out the old like mini DV tape cameras, or the old VHS cameras, and start doing modern content on that, which this sort of feels like that, although it wasn't on tape. It's grown on me quite a bit. I do not, the level of embarrassment versus the level of I actually like this is balanced out well enough that I'm proud of it. So, proud of being involved in it. There is some word of a possible sequel out there as well. So I should say, this movie's basically it's a bed and breakfast being run in Marathon, Florida, which is in the Keys. because the Keys isn't just Key West, and I know that can get confusing sometimes for people. And they're some pretty strange people, and it's hard to, and they've got some pretty, well, they're pretty strange people. They've got some pretty strange visitors, most of whom just show up at the gate. And but this is on Halloween, so that's part of why we're getting sort of trick-or-treaters coming to the gate. But it's more than just that, for whatever reason. And including an IRS agent that disappears, an FBI agent looking for the disappeared IRS agent, and lots of backstabbing and general, goofy tomfoolery related to the ownership of the bed and breakfast. Ultimately, it's just basically about this night at this bed and breakfast and the surrounding area, and all the things that are going on. That's the best I got, trying to summarize what the movie's about. It's made all locally. All the actors pretty much are or were locals, or related in some way to locals. And I mean not just locals of the Keys, but locals of Marathon in particular. So it's kind of fun that something like this we got put up on Amazon Prime. And now I fully expect many people may not get it, or it sometimes feels like a giant inside joke because all the locals. But I have yet to really watch this with somebody who didn't know anyone involved in it, or didn't know Marathon, so I have no idea how this would play. It might not play at all, but there's some music in here and situations related to that music. There's at least one scene that's one of the funniest scenes I've ever seen in a movie, and I'm not going to spoil what that is, but if someone wants to watch the movie and take a guess, let me know in the comments what scene you think that is, because there is one to me in particular that is like one of my favorite things. It's definitely my favorite scene in the movie, but it's one of my favorite scenes, comedic scenes. I'll give you that much. It's comedy and it's music related, and I think it's going to be pretty easy to tell which one. But just in case, I'm not going to say what it is. And if you actually sit down and watch the movie, whether you're seeing this now or 10 years from now, if I'm still alive and paying attention to this channel, I will, I'll respond to that, because this is, I don't know, it's important to me. Anyway, giving this movie some kind of formal review beyond that, I don't think makes a lot of sense. I just think it's worth seeing just for the entertainment value alone. It does succeed in being entertaining, which is more than you can say for some much larger budget movies, for sure. So I think I'm done rambling. If you do watch it, let me know in the comments. It's Marathon After Midnight, Amazon Prime. You'll either have to rent it or buy it. I don't get any of that money, so don't think it's coming to me. It's not. But I was in the movie, so know that. And I'd love to hear what someone thinks. Again, whether that's the day after I record this video, which is not likely, or 10 years from now, this video will still be on YouTube if YouTube exists and they don't delete everyone's stuff. Who knows? Or if you find this video elsewhere, because who knows, maybe someday it goes somewhere else. I don't know. I'll probably do another version of this video later when I have a better handle on what I want, how I want it. I don't know. Well, just as my perspective changes on it, and as I said, there may be a sequel in the works, so that would be a while from now once that happens. But it'll all be worth talking about again once that's going on. And if that does go on, I'm gonna actually vlog shooting it. Yeah, that's definitely a thing. If we start making this super local movie sequel, I'm going to bring this camera and document as much of the making of it, or at least make vlogs out of the making of it. Also, I think once there is some kind, I'll just assume there will be, once there is an audience at all for this, I think it would be fun to make filming locations of this movie, because no one else is going to do that. It's going to be me to do that, or no one's going to do that. So I think that's something I can do that no one will care about initially, maybe, but once there's at least a little bit of interest, I'll do it for me and those few other people. Maybe I'll probably just do it anyway. I can always talk about something else in there, but anyway, that's enough. Marathon After Midnight, Amazon Prime. Like and subscribe. See you next time. Bye-bye.